Alright guys, it's finally time to give this a go. Hey guys, this is GameCow playing Touhou Genius South First. This is attempt number 1 on camera with the final boss stuff. And hopefully it won't go completely terribly. There are a fair few ways that this can go wrong, but yeah, let me just double check we have the right formation here with everybody in their right places. Because the last time I did this and I switched parties and oh, it wasn't the right formation, but this time it most definitely is, so let's go ahead and give this a go. So, you only need to enter with one party. The party that you enter with first will be the first party, obviously, that goes through. So, that's kinda cool. And then, yeah, you just begin. So, the text and stuff is still a bit messed up here. I have no idea why. Like, I think sometimes it just kind of does that. Like, whenever you have the game on and you go between arrow and no arrow. So, it's kind of weird. But anyway, Newspaper Tango is the first thing to do. There's not really much point in, like, fully attacking Annis in the first turn, because you're not likely to do more than 1,000 damage. And, Annis does have that 999 regen, which is really annoying, so mostly just focus on your defensive stuff to begin with here, and Ryu doesn't really have a whole lot to do turn 1, so she can just basic attack, I guess. So group focus gives us accuracy and evasion. The evasion buff means that most of the time Annis will not actually do too much to us here. So, as you can see, she missed, and then she would summon Chihiro first here. Okay, so one of the annoyances within this fight is that if there aren't two enemies on the field that are not the goddesses, they will summon extra foes to fight you. Now these can just be basic enemies. There's a basic crocodile, snake, and turtle, which you want to take care of the turtle. But those guys are ignorable, but they can also summon weakened versions of Matsuba and the three maids to their aid as well, and they are much less ignored than the other characters. I mean, Matsuba is kind of ignorable, but Chihiro you must get rid of immediately with this strategy, or like as quickly as you can, which is not super quickly, but yeah, the snake I can ignore. The snake is fine, it basically just has constraint and maybe some poison stuff, and that's it. Chihiro does still resist light, which is really annoying, and every 2 turns the goddess will switch out to another one, so Viatops is here now. Each of the goddesses has their own initial weaknesses and strengths from before, so Annis is weak to electric and slash, Vio to water and strike, and Litos to fire and stab. They also have their own resistances from before, so Annis does resist strike attacks, Litos does resist slash attacks, and I guess Vio probably still resists stab quite a bit. So yeah, as you can see, the actual output, like the health of these maids is not super high, but you do still need rid of them as soon as possible. And I think I do want to res buff here, because if I don't actually res buff, then I could get blinded by the Ultra Sync, and that would be super annoying. I can remove it, but it would take time. I don't know if I really want that double caster. Yeah, because blinding is really bad. Obviously, Optimus Maelstrom can still come up. The maids do still have most of their power. That isn't quite so good. Thankfully, Sana's got regen because I gave her that, so it's not so bad here. It's just difficult expending the resources here to deal with Chihiro. That's the annoying part. I don't want to use too much MP with Moko, so I might just use Flying Phoenix here, because I want to get some damage on Vio as well. That would be nice. And we need to heal Aya, because she did get pummeled by the Energy Bolt there, and that is the one weakness with this formation stuff, with the way this is set up, is that you can get kind of overwhelmed a little bit by magic on Vio's turns. But Beyond that, it's usually okay, so let's have Flying Phoenix do some damage here. Hopefully that takes out... Oh, it didn't. Okay, the snake is weak to fire. I did not actually realize that. As Tentacle Dance, and that killed Reimu, so yeah. Chihiro is just as annoying as she was before, and thankfully she is going to die pretty soon, so it's that. This might be a turn that I want to go ahead and use Private Square, because although then I do want to have my... no, this is probably a good turn to use Private Square, and we'll just make sure that she falls. I really do want to use Source of Rains, but at the same time, I can wait for that, I think. I'm going to use Wind of Miracles this turn to get my attack up So there's the animation, doesn't really do a whole lot. There goes Chihiro, which is good. And the Gator I can kind of ignore as well. The Gator's really not that big of a problem. It's mostly the maids which are an issue, so you do need to take care of them as soon as possible, especially Chihiro. Akuma, or whatever her name is, the blowfish one, you can probably kind of ignore, but you do absolutely need to remove Chihiro. So even when even when Private Square is in effect, the enemies do still switch places, and you can still use the Hakuro under Private Square, so we'll get a fair bit of damage on Anis here. And... oh, actually you can't. Okay, never mind, you can't use that there, but we can still get some good firepower going out. You want to try and get as much of Sakuya's attacking done on Anis as you can, and then you want to have as much of Moko's attacking on Vio. Not Litos, although Litos doesn't take too much less damage. Litos' fire weakness is not as substantial as Vio's strike weakness, because Vio has that lower Divine Barrier. Both Vio and Anis have 10% Divine Barrier, whereas Litos has 30, so it's a lot harder to punch through Litos than it is to go through Anis. Not Anis, Vio. I'm not going to use Jack the Ripper again just now though, because Sakuya's MP is going to wear out really quickly if I do that, so... Actually, I should be using the Hamper this turn, because I will be getting more power out here. Let's just use Ludovile then. Get a little bit more damage off Fujiyama Volcano here, and this turn I do want to use Source of Rains, because I do need Reimu back up. So that should be okay. The evasion buff off of that should keep her alive, and there's the last word typically, so that's kind of annoying, but oh well. It's a little bit more damage out. Vio still hasn't made a move yet, so she'll summon another enemy, and it's Matsuba. Okay, Matsuba is surprisingly toothless, to be honest. She really doesn't do that much, so I'm not super worried about dealing with her. I'm just gonna go ahead with Fujiyama and buff my physical attack here, and we shall have Reimu just go ahead with her basic attack as well. As you can see, Io really isn't here for the damage, but that's okay. A double cast of Fujiyama is super good though, that will get a lot of damage out. The sister... ooh, ouch. The sisters here have, I think it's 70,000 HP. The wiki says 65,000, but I'm pretty sure it's actually 70,000 they have, so... yeah, it's substantial, but it's not impossible to defend against. I think this turn I'm actually just going to go ahead and Soul Sculpture, because I don't think I really need to go too deep into hitting Litos here. I do want my resistance up though, but at the same time I need to heal, that's kind of an issue. Let's go ahead and Tenyu support Reimu here so that she can definitely go first and get the heal off here. I have 8 bombs left. I don't want to use more bombs just yet. I mean, we are still struggling. We're not really struggling here, it's just we are kind of maybe behind a little bit in terms of damage for the number of bombs and stuff I've taken out, but that'll change fairly soon. Oh, Tremor Wave is not good though. I didn't realize she had that. Okay, that kind of hurt. And Fine Crush does at least a miss. That did not though, so yeah, now we are in a lot of trouble. Because Aya is kind of essential for not dying here, so heck yeah. Let's just use the Hakuro, and we'll try and get some damage out. Although, having said that, I should probably just use Phoenix Resurrection. Yeah, never mind. We'll use Phoenix Resurrection this turn, and use the Hakuro next turn. So, last word, get myself built up, and we shall raise evasion when I do so. I'll need to use Reimu to heal Aya, because Phoenix Resurrection does not heal at full health, so that is kind of important here. And hopefully, with the evasion, we should be okay at this point to handle ourselves. Oh no, it does heal. Okay, and then she just vortexed away my my dispel, so that's okay. She vortexed away my innovation. I do not care about that. Right. Okay, so you can see Matsuba is still kind of annoying. The Gator really isn't doing anything. Matsuba is doing a little bit, which is irritating, but not impossible to handle. So we just want to get as much attack power off against Anis here as we can. So I'm gonna just use the attack buff, and I'm gonna use my spell, my Hyper Amulet here as well. Everybody's at decent enough health that I should survive this turn. So yeah. Oh no, that kind of hurt. Ouch. Okay, that's fine. That's not quite so fine, but still okay. Right. Okay, you can see this fight is still kind of nerve-wracking. Let's use the Hakuro this turn, get some more damage out. We will technically support Reimu so that she can heal everyone a little bit quicker, and then we'll probably have Sanai use... we'll have Sanai use her single target heal on Reimu so that she can be at full health here. She did only just survive that, so yeah. So that's fine. Get some healing off there, and that puts Moko at a decent amount of health, and you can see we're still just about surviving. Anis can use a weapon and Armor Blast as well. Armor Blast gets really annoying. Wow, I have not had issues with hitting whilst I've had bad luck. Okay. That kind of sucks. I wonder if that's because I don't have Wind of Miracles right now. Wind of Miracles, I don't know if it affects the field skill. It would be kind of silly if it did, but at the same time, that's the best explanation I would have there. So Sakio is at full health. I don't really need to use Soul Sculpture. Her MP is running a little bit low. That is a slight concern, considering I really haven't had that much damage out of it yet, but let's get Wind of Miracles going here. And do I want to heal? No, I'm at full health, except for Moko, who's at most of her health, so we'll do an attack this time. So, how much is this going to do? 3,600, that's okay. I really hope to do more damage than that right now. Okay, so now I should probably raise my evasion, and I'm actually going to use Tree Leaves this turn so we can increase our evasion further. This fight can still go downhill if you're not lucky. That's, you know, it is one of the potential issues with this. I'm actually just going to Hakuro as well, so that I can do more damage this turn, and we shall go ahead with Ludovile as well. I want to use my other thing. I want to use Private Square next turn, I think, so we'll do that, and then we shall Fade buff this turn, and we shall use one of my spell card heals so that I can heal everybody in the back row strongly here. So yeah, this fight is really involved, even if you don't. You know, it's partly because of the levels I'm at. Like, if I had higher levels with this, I would do a lot more damage, and that would be much better. But I don't, so it's fine. We're still getting there. Yeah, that energy bolt hurt though, and I do need to. Well, I don't really need to put this back up because I will be using I will be using Private Square this turn, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that instead. We're gonna Illusionary Dominance so that we can make sure that we go first. Private Square, because if I Private Square this turn, that means I can have a turn against what's her face. I can have 2 turns against Anna's where I guarantee my hits will land. So that's what we'll do. I can't use my Wind of Miracles, so we'll just single target heal Aya. And Reimu doesn't really get much damage off against Lolitos. But I don't really see a better thing to do here with Reimu, so we'll just do that anyway. So this will guarantee we go first, and that will give us a decent bit of damage. As you see, it's not quite as high as again. Oh wow, nothing. It's not quite as high as when you're against Vio because of the Divine Barrier, but it's okay. It's enough. That's what matters. So against Lolitos, I don't really want to spend any MP, so I will not. I will just basic attack against her. And then that also cost her her bomb turn, so she can use that. And now we're going to jam her up twice and get as much damage as we can out here. Which is not going to be very much if we aren't lucky here. That's a little bit of an issue. Only 2. That's really bad. Okay, so that did not go anywhere near as well as I had hoped. Because that's the unfortunate thing about RNG stuff, but I think we're still just about okay here. Moko's running out of bombs, which is a problem, but I think we'll still be okay. Sane really does need healing, I should not neglect that. Let's heal Sane here. Because Sane's going to need to buff next turn as well, so there's another reasonable amount of damage going out, and that's okay. So, from here, we want to use the Hacker so that we get more damage output this turn. I do not have my evasion accuracy up yet, so we'll need to get that going. I can't really afford to use Jack the Ripper anymore, so we're not going to. And we'll buff that, and once again, group heals. Reimu doesn't die. That would be very nice. So, Lightning Rod, I don't actually know exactly what that does, but I reckon if you hit Matsuo with an electric attack, then she probably doesn't like take damage from that, and she gets a more powerful attack here. Because she's going to do a weird Fungus Splash move, which does a little bit of damage, but not that much. So I actually don't really know what that does, to be completely honest. Obviously, the only target you really need to take out here is the final boss itself. You do not need to take out the lackeys, so we're not focusing on that at all. Moko's got 3 bombs left. I want to save those for use against Fire, so right now that is what we are going to do, and we are going to hopefully be able to defend against Litos' bomb here. Because that'll be my next ideal turn, is if she bomb refills here, then I can use don't. Nope, she vortexes like a piece of shit that she is. So, this is kind of worst case scenario when it comes to how this is going. Like, this is really, really bad for this fight. It usually doesn't go this badly. Not really a whole lot else I can say, but this is just, like, Vortex is coming out all the time. It's a pain in the ass, I'll tell you that right now. And there really isn't anything I can do about it. It's just, hopefully we still have enough resources to take it out here. There's Innovation going out, so that's going to kill my damage output for just now, which is really dumb. but well, I mean, it doesn't kill it because I did have my other thing. I did have the buff that turn, so it just kind of cancelled it out. But I can't buff again this turn, so not so good. At least Group Focus is still going, so that's fine. And yeah, there isn't really much else. I think I need to win Miracles this turn, so that SaGa can hit with her Jab Ribbon, and we'll Hyper Amulet as well. We really need just as much damage output here as we can, so that's what we'll go for. Stigma is another physical attack, it didn't hit obviously this time. Nipper didn't do anything. I probably should have used Marissa here as well, like damage out there, but whatever. Reimu is the highest damage dealer in this part, which is sad. But if I can make it so that she doesn't regen, then that is by itself a perfectly valid thing. Let's use the Hakura this turn. I still have enough MP to use Private Square in the second phase at the moment, which is really what I'm still playing here. And we need an attack buff going and Hyper Amulet just to do as much as we can. And that's... hopefully that Breathless Strikes is super powerful, but obviously it missed here, so that's fine. Fang Crush really doesn't do anything. Armor Bless is annoying as all fuck. Like, seriously, that is really not what I needed to see right now, but at least Reimu did pretty decent damage, right? Okay, so now it's at the point where I have to use Fujiyama Volcano to deal with this. So that is exactly what we are going to do, and we are also going to have a res buff going here as well, I think. And since nobody has taken enough damage, Reimu can just keep on popping with the amulets. Of course, I decided to miss there. I had none of these accuracy problems when I did this before. I don't quite know exactly what's going on there, but oh well. So you can see how good Aya's evasion can be here. Like, she really is just avoiding everything, to be honest. It's pretty great. There's a couple of turns of Group Focus left, that is okay. This turn I really need to use the Hakura, because I really need that attack buff going on here. And I do want to save as much of SaGa's MP as possible. Soul Sculpture is probably strong enough to do some damage here though. And Fujiyama, we need to use Wind of Miracles again, so I get more power out of that. And I still don't know what that lightning blood truly does, so it's kind of weird, but whatever. So yeah, you can see it does give you a little bit more power if you use it in consecutive turns there, and that is kind of nice. The problem here at this point is that Moko only has one bomb left, and I still have a reasonable amount of HP to deal, so I haven't been able to do as much damage as I did last time so far, which is unfortunate. I was hoping I would still be able to do this equally well, but I guess not. I can't afford to use another private square here, even if I could use it. I can't afford to use one anymore. And I really don't want to use a spell against Atos. So we'll just do basic damage here. I need to heal SaGa because she took the energy bolt last turn. We established before that Reimu does no damage here. So maybe what I should actually do is get the evasion buff going, and then we'll have Reimu heal. I can use her bomb heal because I still have 5 bombs on Reimu, so that's fine. Hopefully, once again, the hope is I don't get vortexed here. That would be really sucky. No, there's a bomb refill. Okay, that's fine, because that's going to be a status condition which I can nullify with Reimu next turn. Status enhance went down, but I think that's okay. Like, I don't think that's going to make any difference in the long run here, because I can't use it this turn, but I'll use it next turn with the Hakura, so that's fine. Nothing else is actually going to matter too much here, so everybody's at a decent amount of health, but I guess just for safety I can heal Aya just in case, and then omnidirectional binding circle to nullify the status conditions from Litos' bomb. So we're just about there. Really, this is around about what I would need from this first phase, although I would have liked to have had a bit more health. Not health, I would have liked to have had a few more resources going into the next phase here, but it's okay. I also didn't realise last turn I had lost my thing, but whatever. Reimu needs to go on the attack this turn. SaGa and Reimu are the only two who are damaged, so I can use my heals for that. So let's go ahead and use the Hakuro. We still have a lot of Hakuro, shots available here, which is pretty good. Soul Sculpture won't cost me too much MP, and I still have enough bombs to use Dudaface, also known as Private Square. And as much as I want to have Wind of Miracles going here, I should probably heal Reimu. No, I can have Wind of Miracles going here. We'll give the buff, and Reimu can heal herself. So, get that damage output. Hopefully get the kill here. No, maybe not get the kill here. I don't think we'll get the kill on this turn, because that's not going to do enough damage. But, oh, but that's SaGa. That's pretty good. Also, we had a bomb refill go off there, so I probably want to use Tengu's evasion stuff. I only have one bomb left with Haya, but that's all I need. I just need one bomb to use Illusionary Dominance in the final phase, and we shall be okay. Even if I don't have that, Tengu's support is a lesser but still usable alternative to it, so... no, I really do want to get the damage off on this here. We'll just use that first, and everybody's all fully buffed at this point, so I guess we can just probably heal Reimu now, and Hyper to get the damage off here. So Muscle Revolution hopefully won't hit. Oh, 10,000 crushes was what came out instead, but it didn't really do enough damage, so I forgot she even had that skill, so that's kind of how relevant that is. I should probably note, if you actually want to have the entries in your database for these extra monsters, you do need to actually kill them. But I'm not needing that, so whatever. I just want to get as much damage output here as possible, because I really want to have this done this turn, if possible. So that is what we're going to do. Sanae may as well heal herself, and Hyper just to get a little bit more damage out. I'm hoping that Fujiyama Volcano was enough here. SaGa as well will keep going into the next phase. It's fine. It's not enough. That's really annoying. Thunder. Ouch! That's a lot of damage. And that's enough. Okay, Reimu getting the final blow. First phase is over. Resources are extremely low, but we have just about enough to begin the next phase at the very least, so that's fine. Once you've taken out the goddesses, then everything else just disappears. And this line is actually unique to whoever's your leader at the time, because this wasn't what was said when I had Oko as the commander, so... I don't know what everybody says there, and I'm not intending on finding out either, so... Yeah, welcome to Phase 2! Yes, preparations are going to be in here, power of all three of us, blah blah blah. Shall we do battle again? Yeah, let's do it! So, they're in a bit of a desperation phase at this point, and as you can see, the turn sort of carries over, so physical attack both ran out, but that's okay. So, this phase is a 50,000 HP phase, and the enemies have relatively minor attacks. They have two powerful moves, Minus, which does 666 damage of Mystic and ignores like magic defense, and Stone Shower, which is a multi-target earth move. Stone Shower won't do as much damage right now because the Thunderland is pretty high, mostly because of Mad Thunder. But every 3 turns, the goddesses will chant an incantation. They will do this 3 times, and if they manage to do it 3 times, the fight will end, and it will go to the final phase. and you really do not want that chant to go off, because it will basically make the final fight impossible. So we have to do 50,000 damage in 9 turns. However, you can game the system a little bit, and that's what we'll be doing fairly soon. Where on the 3rd turn we'll start gaming the system a little bit here, and we shall probably do that. So your Reimu is looking a little bit low in health. I should probably have her heal up, but the sisters do not have a lot of defense in this phase, so I just want to get some damage out here. Might be a mistake, but I think it'll be okay. So Flare is one of the things they can do as a single time mystic attack that does kind of hurt, but it's not the end of the world. We're gonna have Marissa use a Hacker here so that she can get a little bit more damage output into this turn, and I do have enough to use a Ludovile. Mark Punch, we shall heal Aya so that she doesn't get attacked again like that, and I shall just go ahead and use Hyper Amulet again because I'm doing damage output this turn, and that is okay. So you can see there's a lot of damage that SaGa is capable of right now because she is like mega buffed, and that is really good. Status enhancers of that turn, that is really important. This is turn 3 at this point, so we shall now be using Illusion of Dominance, and we will be private squaring to go with that. This is a combination you can use at any point during the game, and it's really powerful whenever you get to use it. SaGa's private square usually goes last every turn, but if you have Aya make sure that everybody goes first in the turn, you can get private square off before the enemy gets a turn. Now this is really important if you have 25 points in the private square tree here, because, right, this is turn 3, the enemies don't get an attack this turn, so they skip the first incantation. The next incantation turn would be turn 6, and private square does not ignore turn count, so if you only had a 2-turn private square, the enemy would get to move again on turn 6, and they would be able to do an incantation. However, we are going to have a 3-turn private square, which means that private square will only let the opponents move on turn 7. And by turn 7, that's 2 incantations that they haven't been able to perform. So they still have another 3 turns to take, and they will have only had their first incantation. That means that you can bring the second party in when you're done with that, and basically set up for the phase. So do as much damage as you can here. The status enhancer is going to help a lot with this because SaGa is going to have so much damage output now. It's a shame I don't have enough MP to use Private Square and Jack the Ripper here, because that would do a lot more damage than Ludovile. But Ludovile will still do enough damage that it works out. So we're really using every available resource that we have here to just do as much damage as we can before the enemy gets a chance to do their powerful attacks. So yeah, SaGa now has 3 turns to herself. She has 14 MP, which means I can use Jack the Ludovile like 4 times from here, and that will pretty much be it. Hopefully we'll get 2 damage every turn. Or the SaGa goes down there, that's kind of bad because that's most of the damage output. I say most, it's actually not that bad. That's still a pretty reasonable amount of damage off there, so that's cool. I don't have any bombs to use with Aya anymore, that's a little bit annoying, but whatever. We'll have one last use of the Hakuro, and then I'll be switching parties next turn. Switching parties does not cost you a turn, so that's okay. You can still go ahead and use that to your heart's content. I think I do want to use Winter Protection here just in case there's a status condition that comes up, but I don't think it'll matter, so this might just be the case. Aya is still kind of a shit, unfortunately. She only has 108 accuracy, so whatever. Knock Punch not getting any damage off there, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. We got a reasonable amount off of this party, and now it is time to switch to the other party. I should note you cannot try and switch any further. In the previous versions, I think you could try and switch again, but if you did, the game would just like kill you. It would just be a game over. Okay, so now we get to set up for this phase now, so that is fine. And there's no vortex to worry about, so we can adequately defend our back row when they try and help us set up. Leaf Shield, I want to go on Satori because she's the main healer here. We will... we'll do Weapon Bless. No, we'll do Amplifying Scroll first because Weapon Bless, I want to use Bold Advance next turn. And Patchouli is going to start neutralizing Milan here, so we'll use Void Strip to bring Milan pretty far down, and that should help us out. So, approaching neutrality, it will not be actually neutral. Holy is another thing I guess these guys can do. I didn't actually realize that, but we'll just cover... You know what, I think we can afford to cover everyone this turn. And area heal, how many do I get to heal with this again? Oh, I do actually get to heal everybody if I target Alex, that's really cool. We'll Weapon Bless on Yomu, and the land still pretty heavily favours light, which is a bit annoying, but we'll solve that fairly soon. Otherwise, it's water is probably the best thing I want to do here, because if they decide to Stone Shower, that would hurt. So, yeah, we'll go with that. Oh, the last word from the tree is quite nice too, that's a really good thing. And that is their first chance. So we still have 6 turns before they actually get all their stuff finished. So that's good. And now, well, we have 1 slot left on Yomu for Dark Sword in the next phase. So let's just go and Dulse Fanmax this turn. And I actually forgot that was to turn everyone a chance. That was a waste of intuition, but whatever. We'll Shadow Flare because that brings the light land down a bit. We'll actually go ahead and spell Enhance on Satori. And Big Bang, get some damage off for free. Me as well. So that's a decent amount of damage going out from Yomu. And yeah, the Big Bang does a fair bit. Dark Wall isn't going to do anything to Satori because she has Leaf Shield up, which is kind of nice. And those 2 attacks, Dark Wall, and that does bring the Light Land down a lot. It doesn't have to be down to 0, it just has to be down far enough that it's not maxed, basically, or it's not close to maxed. Because if it's close to maxed, that's still going to be pretty dangerous to handle. So we're going to Leaf Shield Byakuya in this turn, and that will let us get her protected, and Earth is the next one to go. So we'll bring Earthland down a little bit here. Professor Moonslash still does a substantial amount of damage, even without any extra buffs there. It's pretty great. Diamond Cutter still does a pretty good chunk as well. Physical Deflect off of like Tree is nice, and this turn is going to be another chant, so that's okay. Just so long as we are aware of how many turns it passed for stuff, that way we should be good to go. Spell Enhance Patchouli because she will be doing a decent amount of damage as well by the time we're finished here. And yeah, it's basically just take them out in the next few turns. You can afford to take a little bit of time to set yourself up here. And yeah, we have 3 turns left to finish them off, but that's fine because they really don't have a lot of health left, so finishing them off should not be too big of an issue here. Actually, what? Yomu's buff stance... Okay, that's not too bad. We might end up needing to take the first couple of turns to reset up Yomu this phase, but that will be okay. I will be perfectly happy to do that. So now Earth is a tiny bit favoured. We'll actually use water this turn. Just keeping the land as neutral as possible is all you really have to do with Touhou. For the most part. So there we go. That is this phase done. Been a while since I met someone so persistent, I know, right? So that's fine, and yep, they can't win if they're not serious, so they're gonna have to use their Trinity combination. True power is about to be unveiled, and this is going to get scary. So the power that drove away countless yokai is about to show up, and I just realized I had not switched my thing around. So let's just make sure that we have our thing switched for the final confrontation here. So, let's take on the true power of the Gorgon Sisters with a new theme as well. This is the like true final boss style theme, and what a final boss this is as well. this is a very, very scary fight to be handling here if you are unprepared. So, a few things to note about this boss. It has 100,000 HP and 33% Divine Barrier. Those are the two first, like, sticking points. She has an additional problem, however, of a ridiculous amount of evasion. I don't remember how much it is, but basically Yomu is the only physical attacker who's actually going to do significant damage evasion-wise. And as you know, magic does not tend to get very good exorcism properties, so it's very difficult for magic attackers to really do a whole lot here. The second problem is that she absorbs land power when it gets really high, and if she does that, she will then use, I think it's Void Capitation is the attack, which is a multi-target void attack that will deal 777 damage to everyone, and it's really hard to reduce that damage. You do not want the land to get maxed in this phase, which is why Petulia is going to be so important here. However, the boss is a foreign god, so long as you stop the chanting. She gets 2 attacks per turn, she has multi-target elemental moves, and a chance to bomb refill and use some awesome spell cards, which are really difficult to defend against sometimes. And she also has Land Amp, which is the opposite of Void Split, so it will greatly increase land levels for all active elements. That can very easily push the land towards max here, so you've got to be very careful about that. Leash Shield is open for use again, so let's get Patchouli covered here. And as you can see, I've managed to keep the land extremely neutral here, which is very good. And the boss is weak to Dark, so I think I mentioned that before. So Dark Sword is definitely something to use here. Silent Selling may as well get used, it's a powerful attack, so bring that in. And yeah, even without buffs, Yomu can still do a pretty substantial amount of damage. And when... oh, there's Minus though. Ouch! Yeah, Minus can come out at any time. 666 damage at Mystic. Really hard to defend against, but Leash Shield is very good, so we'll have that. Byakuran's last word is absolutely useless here because you do not have any experience from the final fight, so do not use Byakuran's last word, it is a waste of a turn. And basically just try and cover Yomu as much as possible here. I'm actually going to go ahead and use Reflect Wall this turn so that I can reflect most of the magic attacks which are coming my way, because those are going to get dangerous really quickly if I don't do something about that. What's your buff status? 5 turns left on that. Yeah, let's actually just use Spell Enhance to get that back up. Darkland is getting a little bit favourable with Void Split this turn to bring that back towards neutral. And yeah, next turn we'll Pascal. And there is the reason why I went for that reflect. So, neutral land. If you don't manage to stop the sisters from chanting 3 times, then this boss will have 199,000 HP, 4 actions per turn, and no type to have a Slayer against, so there won't be a foreign god to slay. And at that point you may as well just give up, because it'll be almost impossible to get the land towards neutral, and even if you do, it won't really do anything for you, unfortunately. You basically are screwed if that happens, so try not to let that happen. That is the obvious solution. Alice's health is a little bit vulnerable. She can take a ton of damage in 1 turn, so we'll go ahead and keep her healed up here, and we'll actually just pummel on the dark attacks this turn. So, this is the power of Yomu in a nutshell. There's the 20,000, and that is essentially what you want to do. You want to gear yourself up to be able to do that as many times as possible, as quickly as possible, and hopefully not have Satori die. Here is the problem. She can bomb refill at the same time as she does other stuff. You can see just how much damage we did there, so this is a very much just a fight of attrition. We need to take her out before she takes us out. That's it. It is just blitz this final phase as quickly as you can. and hope that it works. I'm not convinced it will at this point, because losing Satori before she got to heal everyone is really bad, but Yomu can still do a lot of damage even when she doesn't have her spell card available. There is Litos' spell, and that is going to be a Petrify on Alice, which is really annoying. Oh, shit. That means that Yomu isn't covered anymore, so I might end up losing Yomu to repeated hits here. Thankfully, Yomu does have a lot of HP, so that's okay, but I still might end up losing her here because, yeah, but if she can keep critting, that's it. She needs to survive this one turn, because next turn she gets Pascal, and Pascal will basically win this game. And it looks like she does survive because Minus went on to Patchouli instead. So now it is a case of Pascal finish the fight off, and that is the end of everything. That is really all that she wrote. If the boss does end up managing to absorb land, I would actually avoid split this turn. If the boss does absorb land, she heals for about 10,000 HP as well as using Void Capitation, so you do not want that to happen. She also has a shield, but it didn't really matter there because Yomu is just that good. So, that is it! The final fight! It's a blitz rushdown if you are not super high leveled. And, yeah. It's very possible to survive that fight with no casualties, but you could see that Alice had the high ribbon for 75% resistance to Petrify, and she still got Petrified there. So the spell card stuff is really nasty. Reimu isn't as good in the second phase as the first phase because, apart from the fact that she kind of conflicts with the Dark Land, Reimu can only defend against physical or magic in one turn, and she can't defend against status as well. So if a bomb comes in, like a bomb skill comes up, then you basically would need both Reimu and Satori to defend against them adequately. I think I might have been able to use Reflect Wall instead of Area Heal during the turn beforehand, and I might have been able to survive with Satori with that, but it doesn't matter, we did it, and so now we have credits to roll.